Hey everybody, welcome to episode 51 of the Five Barista Files. Today is Tuesday, October 11th. Before I get started, I just wanted to wish my brother and sister-in-law, Tara and Mark, a happy anniversary. They got married, I don't know how many years ago. Three years ago? 4 years ago? 3 years ago, I think. Anyway, it's my brother and sister-in-law that are having the baby that I've been knitting for. So, yay, happy anniversary. All right. You can probably tell by my face and this eye that blinks a little bit slower that I'm pretty tired tonight. So this is going to be a quick episode. They've been getting better lately. They haven't been the hour-long episodes that I was having over the summer. So I hope you're enjoying that. I don't know why they were so long there in the beginning of the summer, but they're more reasonable half hour or so now. So that's good. Really quick, week in review. I had a fantastic Columbus Day weekend this past weekend. I joke with the kids that my students that it's happy I didn't discover America Day, but I do definitely appreciate the extra day off. I was able to spend 3 full days in the mountains up home. We had the most beautiful weather you could have ever expected. It has snowed by this time of year before. About every other year or so it seems to snow this time of year. And we had 85-degree heat on Sunday. It was fantastic. I was able to hang out laundry. The sun shone the whole time. I couldn't ask for a better weekend to be up north. The leaves are about a week from peak right now, so it was beautiful scenery and very clear skies with no humidity this time of year. You can really see forever. My husband asked me to go on a short four-wheeler ride on Saturday, and we ended up, we were out for about 5 hours, I think, on Saturday. It was both beautiful and a lot of fun because the trails were pretty muddy because of the rain that we've had this past week. But also, like I said, with the scenery, I mean, we came around a corner and had to stop because you could just see for miles and you could see the mountains and all the trees. It was really gorgeous. We spent Sunday on the couch groaning that we hurt so bad. The trails were rough and it was very hard on our bodies, especially because we hadn't gone in several weeks. And I don't actually have a seat on the back of the four-wheeler. There's a rack on the back for you to tie luggage and stuff onto, and I have a piece of plywood and a foam seat, none of which is attached to the four-wheeler. And then I sit on those and hold on to those rails and try and keep myself on the four-wheeler. I did that for 5 hours. It was a lot of fun, but I'm still so sore. We got the crap kicked out of us. Worth it. Probably will be the last time we go four-wheeling this year. It'll just be too cold. And we didn't get back until after dark, and it definitely was cold on the ride back. We actually took a couple of different trails to try and make it back a little bit sooner, but it was pretty cold. But it was a good weekend. Monday, Columbus Day, I knit and I hung out in Google Chat, which I'll talk about in a minute. And I brought my husband some lunch because he had to work and then hung out. I didn't do anything. It was great. It was so nice. Really needed that extra day off. So we start the season of days off here right now. We have Veterans Day, which is it's the 11th, but it will be observed the Monday before or after. And then we have Thanksgiving week, and then we've got a little bit more than a week at Christmas time. So this is the season of holidays. Excellent. And snow days will be coming again soon, but I don't want to talk about those. All right, knitting. I've been knitting. I've not finished anything, and I have an itch in my ear. Oh my word. I have not finished anything. It is driving me crazy that I have not finished anything. I am not somebody who likes to have a lot of projects on the needles at the same time. I also have really poor impulse control, which leads me to have a lot of things on the needles at the same time. So last Sunday was Knit Whatever the Heck You Want Day, so proclaimed by Lala and You Don't Call Me Les of the Knit Girls. So I worked on my works in progress because that's what I want to do. I want to get something finished. I need to get something finished and off the needles. And a sock to me is off the needles. Like one sock completed is a project. If I do the other sock, great. If I don't, oh well. Especially designs. Sock designs, I knit one, I write up the pattern, send it off to test eaters. My Livy Dubois socks that have been in pattern for more than a year, I don't have the second one finished yet. It was test knit. The test knitters did both socks. It worked fine. It was not a problem. But yeah. All right. So what I have been working on is the sock yarn sweater by Hannah Fettig and Knitbot. That is the sweater that I was knitting out of that test skein of sock yarn that I have. I'm getting some serious progress on that. It feels a little bit like a black hole of knitting because I'm on the stockinette body portion. I have to knit straight stockinette for 6 inches. That doesn't sound like a lot, but I don't want to. I want to be done. I want to move on to the next thing. So it is actually starting to look like a sweater. And of course, I've got yarns poking. Oh, hold on. I'll flip it around. That'll look better. So here's the sleeves here. They're just on stitch holders right now. I didn't put them on waist yarn. I should have. It would have been more convenient for me, but there's the neckline. And it goes down to the hem where I'm at now. I have to get 6 inches from here to here, and then it has just a little garter stitch hem, just like it does at the neck. I think instead of knitting the garter stitch hem in the round, I'm going to go back and forth, not only because that way I won't have to purl, but it'll create a little split here on both sides so that the sweater doesn't pull in. It will be like a shirt tail hem, where you've got those two, the front flap and the back flap. I think that'll be more convenient for people who are dressing the baby. So that's what I'm going to do. It will mean that for the back flap, I have to cut the yarn after the front flap and then attach new yarn. So it's going to be a few more ends to even, but I still think that's going to be the way to go. So, and this is knit out of my silver maple sock base in the 60% superwash merino, 30% bamboo, 10% nylon, and just a test skein. This was a technique that I will talk about a little bit more. It's probably the same as over dyeing, but I'm calling it under dyeing because it's done with a specific way. And I'm my dyer, and I can call it whatever I want. I'm the boss of my dyeing. That sounded really snotty, sorry. But I have this much yarn left. I have plenty of yarn left. I was a little concerned when I first cast it on, but that's not going to be a problem at all. So that's the sock yarn sweater. I have been working on the socks that I was tentatively calling the trellis cable sock or the trellis diamonds. They're not going to have such a loserish name. But I'm working on this is the heel, so I'm working on the leg. I'm not quite to the cuff yet, but I will be soon. I don't like my socks very tall, so I think I'm going to do, you can see there's one diamond here. There's another diamond that I'm working on up here. It will probably be 1, 2, 3 diamonds tall, and then I'll do some sort of top. I haven't decided. I'm going to look at my Wendy Johnson's Socks from the Toe Up book and see what she has for ribbings and cast-offs and try something different. I don't know what yet. I don't want to switch from the diamonds to plain like knit 1 purl 1 ribbing because I think that'll look strange. I don't know. So it's going. It's getting there. I've got probably maybe another 3 hours of concentrated knitting on that, including weaving the ends. I have the chart written up for that, but it's done just on graph paper with a pencil. I need to figure out how to get that onto the computer. It'll be a while before that design is ready. That will be a free pattern on Ravelry because the diamond trellis pattern is very common, and I'm not going to search for hours through Ravelry to see if somebody else has done something similar. I'm not copying anybody. I've never seen this pattern, but it probably exists in some form somewhere, or something similar does. So it's going to be a free pattern. It's going to have, your own recipe for your toes and heels, and we'll go from there. The third thing I've been working on is the rainbow rib socks. I had made the heel, and I did the short row heel, and I told you last week that I didn't like the way the color reattached. So I've put in waist yarn. You can see it there. It will be, and you can see here now, the ribbing up here started the leg. So I'm on the leg. this is where I'm at so far. So if that's the heel, I'm just starting up the leg. I think I'm going to continue this red down. The red starts down here and goes up. I think I'm going to continue on the leg until I get right about to the middle of this black. So I've got probably another 3 inches probably on top of that to get to the black, and I'll cast off in the middle of the black here and then start the next sock with the rest of the black down here so that they won't match. They'll be opposites of each other. So I'm still really enjoying that a lot. You can see I'm back to virgin wool. I've used up all the yarn that I had ripped out from the heel. So that's making progress too. Excuse me, I told you I was tired. I don't know if I showed you this hat last time or not. It's the Click for Babies purple hat from very old Lion brand. I think I did. I've cast on hat number 2. All it is the ribbing right now. It's going to be called, and I have notes here. Sorry, I know I'm looking away from the camera. Sorry about that. I accidentally clicked out of it when I was trying to wake my mouse up. I'm knitting that baby hat that I've just started the ribbing. Of course, I've X'd out of it on library. I think it's called, it's not called the Escot or Esco. It's a, now I have to go look. I'm sorry. It is in my project page. The hat is the Aston, A-S-T-O-N, by Stitch Therapy Brooklyn. It's kind of a swirly hat pattern and it ends with a little I-cord on the top. It's going to be kind of cute. I am following directions for this hat pattern because this hat was way too big for baby. So it'll be good for a fat-headed baby, I guess, maybe. I'm going to send it along. Katie can decide what to do with it. But this one is going to be much smaller. You can see already that it's much smaller. Like 4 inches smaller. So hopefully I'll have better results with this hat than I did with the last one. I really want to get that done. It's October. Katie said she wanted them by the 15th. It's the 11th. I need to get my button gear and get that hat done. That hat is going to take priority over all of the other knitting until it's done. It should only take me a couple of hours. I just need to get it done. So that is the plan. I did finish writing up the pattern for the lined beanie. The beanie pattern has gone out to test knitters. 2 test knitters have finished their hats. 2 test knitters are currently knitting on it. It is a very quick knit, so one of my test knitters actually has done 2 hats. I have received some suggestions, not mistakes, but things that I ought to include in the pattern. For example, somebody said that they wanted me to include a link to the tutorial on jogless stripes. You can kind of see that that's the seam of the hat, but the stripes go straight across, which is really nice. So I'm going to include the link for jogless stripes. And they also said that people might want to know how many, let me get the light better, how many stripes of what I did when I changed the colors. So this is 10 blue, 10 gray, 4 blue, 10 gray, the rest in blue. So I did include that there too, just in case you don't have any imagination and want to knit, or maybe you just really like what I did and that's what you want to do. So that was a suggestion. So I've done a couple things. As soon as the other 2 test knitters are done and they give me their feedback, it'll be available on Ravelry as a free pattern for download. Yay! Okay, really? I don't know what I'm at, like 12, 13 minutes. Yeah. Spinning, we're not going to talk about this week. I actually made notes that I had done all this stuff and then I didn't do it and started recording instead. Why don't I show you what I'm going to knit next? Once I get 2 projects cast off, the Click for Babies hat and one of the socks, I'm going to cast on the first of my Christmas knitting projects. I'm not doing a lot of Christmas knitting. My husband deserves some things. My friend Leanne wants some felted slippers. I'm going to do the French press slippers for her. And my brother John doesn't know it, but he's getting these mittens. This is just a chart, really. It's not a whole mitten pattern, but this is Cthulhu. My brother is a big H.P. Lovecraft fan, and he is going to get these colorwork mittens for Christmas. He's a big Cthulhu fan. There are some really cute amigurumi crocheted Cthulhus out there. I can't crochet. So he's getting mittens. I'm going to knit it out of Knit Picks palette. I've got the colors all picked out. In fact, they're sitting in my cart right now. A few books may have jumped in my cart as well. $50 is free shipping. You know, you've got to get to that $50 mark. I had to walk away. I need to convince myself that I don't need those books. It's 40% off. It's free shipping over 50. I'm having a really hard time saying no, but I'm trying. So as soon as I get 2 projects done, I will be knitting on the Cthulhu mittens. I need to get the yarn ordered soon so that it's here before I start to knit. So that's next. Dye pots. Dye pots will be going this week. They really didn't get a whole lot done last week. I had the shop update last week. The spindles sold pretty well. I'm really pleased to be able to get some more spindles into you guys' hands. I don't know when the next batch of spindles will be coming. If you want a spindle, the most effective way for that to happen is for you to email my spindle maker, who's my husband. His name is Paul, Paul, at highlandhandmades.com. Send him an email. Send him an email and ask him for a spindle. Ask him to make you one custom. Ask. Please ask. Because it doesn't mean anything to come from me anymore. Me saying you need to make spindles, people have been asking me for spindles, isn't the same as somebody actually messaging him and saying, I would really like a spindle. So at this point, if you want a spindle, I hope you will email him. We do have some. There's some in the shop. But there needs to be more. We also purchased some tools to make featherweight spindles, which are smaller spindles in diameter. Our normal whorl diameter is 3 inches. These are smaller, and they'll have the thin shafts. They'll be very lightweight, less than an ounce. You just have to do it. Email him. Ask him. Say, when's the featherweight spindle going to be available? Because I really want one. Ask him and see if that has an effect. I won't nag. I'm not supposed to nag. I'm not going to nag. Ask for it if you want it. So I did get, and I'm going to move the camera so that you can see. Don't judge my laundry behind it or my very messy house. That brown box right there, my apartment is a mess. I can't believe I'm showing you this. That brown box right there is a box from my fiber supplier, and it has yarn and fiber in it. I'm going to be breaking into that tonight or tomorrow, dividing up the fiber, dyeing pots, getting that all going. It's going to be a dye weekend. My husband is coming down this weekend to the coast to be with me so that I can work on the weekend and get those dye pots going and have a really great update for you next week. There won't be an update this week. I've switched, remember, to going to updates every other week in order to give you more stuff to choose from. There will be some new colorways this week. I may put up the stuff that I show you in next week's podcast. I may hold out the new colorways and not show anybody, and that way people can't say, ooh, I want it, I want it. And that gives everybody free chance so that when the shop update goes live, it won't even be on the site until it'll be hidden until the shop update happens at 5 p.m. That's a little surprise for you, gives you a little something extra, and if you want it, you can nab it. So stay tuned. Let's see. I'm almost caught up with all my custom orders. I am working on it. New colorways are coming. It's going to be good. Processes. I just talked about it. Oh, I was going to open up the box and show you how the fiber all comes. I am not going to do battle with that box right now. Actually, sure. I have nothing better to show you right now in processes. So give me 2 seconds and I will be right back. Okay, so when I get my order supplies, I order specific amounts and they come to me in those amounts in bags. This is mixed BFL. This is a bag of Falkland, and they're all labeled so that I know what they are. This is some, oh, this is my personal sweater yarn. They come in bags and cones. This is a cone. This is the Eagle Creek lace. Comes in a cone. The fiber, sorry about all the crinkling. The fiber gets, it's all kind of in one big ball. And what I'll do is it goes on my work table and my digital scale with the basket attachment goes on there and I turn it on. And I will pull a strip off until I get 113 to 114 grams. It's in the ballpark. And then I'll break the piece off, wind it up, and it goes back into this bag, but I'll separate it out into individual 4-ounce what will essentially become braids. That way, if I do all of it at once, when I get inspired to do a colorway or when I have a dye session, I don't have to switch between dyeing and dividing the fiber. If I batch the tasks, it goes a lot faster for me. So I do all of the fiber at once, and then I'll do the yarn all at once. I have another cone of lace weight over there that I haven't touched yet, so it takes the same amount of time to skein 2 skeins of yarn at once as it does to do one, because I have the Crazy Monkey Skein Wonder that will do up to 3 at a time. So it's a lot more efficient for me to do 2 at a time than it is to do 1. So I actually didn't divide that out because I wanted to do more at once. So, and it's like Christmas. It's a big, great big happy box of fiber, and you can't not love the big happy box of fiber. This particular vendor has just added computer internet ordering. You used to have to call them up and actually speak to them on the phone, and they're on the West Coast, so you had to know you couldn't call before noon here, and you could, so on and so forth. So ordering online is really nice, and it also has a subtotal function. On the phone, you just order it and hope that you've done your math right and it's correct. Now they also include estimated shipping costs, so it's a little bit more accurate as to how much it actually costs to order it. So that's good. All right, growth. I've got a couple patterns in the works. The lined beanie pattern will be available soon. That's it. I'm just keeping on, trying to get caught up on custom orders, trying to get back into the mode of providing you with awesome stuff. You can see I do have show notes this week. Okay, grabby hands. Grabby hands this week is not something for you to buy. Grabby hands this week is the website Google+. Google+, when I joined, was invitation only. I joined several months ago and really wasn't sure about it at first, but I have rapidly grown to love Google+. And there's 2 really important reasons why I like Google+ so much. The first is because Google+ operates very much like Facebook, where you have friends and you post, what you're doing or things like that. Excuse me. And, they can comment on it or share it or whatever. It's a lot like Facebook. But the thing that I really love about Google+ is you put your friends into what are called circles, which are little groups of friends that you categorize. So like I have all fiber people in one group. I have a group called Hometown Heroes, which is like my husband and any students of mine from up home that have added me, co-workers, people that I know in real life. I have another one, which is like acquaintances, people who, I know, like friend of a friend and stuff like that. So I have everybody grouped into individual categories. So when I make a post about fiber, I just send it to that circle so that the people who aren't in the fiber industry don't get my fiber posts. I am so tired of ignorant Facebook posts where they're like, yeah, I have no idea what you just said. What's K2TOG? What's that even mean? You can buy socks at Walmart for super cheap, right? I'm so tired of those. And I'm sure that my friends and family are really tired of constantly hearing about yarn and fiber. With the circles feature on Google+, you only give the information you want to the people that need it. So I'm also not sharing family drama with all of my knitting friends because they don't need to know that stuff. They just don't. I like that feature a lot. You still have the option of sending a post to everybody, but you can kind of pick and choose who you send stuff to. That's a feature Facebook just doesn't have, and I really love that. The second feature that Google+ has that I think, to me, makes the difference between other social media and Google+ is that Google+ has a Hangout feature. And you've probably heard this on other podcasts. I know that Coggy from the High Fiber Diet was just talking about this in her most recent episode. Google Hangout is kind of like Skype in that it's a video chat. A lot of my friends are other podcasters. We all have webcams, we all have mics. So when we're not busy or when we're doing something else, we'll start a Hangout. Somebody starts a Hangout and all of the other, like a knitter, say Mommy Needs Yarn, and then a bunch of other knitters will join the Hangout. And so we all have our webcams on and our microphones going, we're knitting, we're chatting, we're being inappropriate. It's a fantastic time. I am very isolated down here on the coast. There is a knitting and fiber community here, but I haven't gained entrance to it yet. I want to do that right, so I'm sort of waiting for my invitations and whatnot. I'm here alone pretty much all the time. When I'm working, I come home from work and I'm here by myself. And it's kind of lonely. So Google Chat has definitely, the Hangouts have been fantastic at alleviating that isolation and providing me with a knitting group. These are people whom I love, people who I know a lot about, friends, even though I haven't met all of them in real life. They're friends of mine, and we get to hang out and chat on Google Plus, and they want to know what I'm knitting. They're interested in how the business is going. And to me, that has been a very big comfort. So Grabby Hands this week is Google Plus. Google Plus is no longer invitation only. Anybody can join. If you go to the Google homepage in the top left-hand corner, if you haven't joined, should say plus and the word you, Y-O-U. If you click on that, you can sign up for Google Plus and go from there. My name is Heather Kinney on there, Kinnne. So go ahead and add me. I know the Knit Girls, Lala, and You Don't Call Me Lester on there. There's lots of us on there, and we're not hard to find. So I hope you'll join. I hope you'll hang out with us sometime. Be brave. There are some people who don't get on camera, but you really ought to. Even Coggy, despite her saying that she's never going to have a video podcast, has been seen on camera in Google Chat. Oh, she has. Oh, yes. In fact, I even think I got a shot of Sarge one day. So join us. Come say hi. It's a lot of fun. So that's all I have this week, guys. I'm fingers crossed that next week when I podcast, I will have a link for you for the lined beanie pattern for you to go and start your holiday knitting. Those words make me sick to my stomach to think about holiday knitting. I have got to finish some projects before I can even think about it. So, enjoy yourself, knit lots. Until next week, guys, happy spinning and knitting, and thanks for tuning in.